What is up, guys? So today I am going to make a video, obviously very much clearly, of me having some tobacco, which I am smoking American Spirit Black, rolled up. I should have rolled it up for you and definitely give the vibe. Maybe I will do that right now, actually. And I'm having some Kirin Ichiban beer, which is, funny enough, a product of the USA. It says Kirin Ichiban is the pinnacle in our century-long quest for a beer more perfected, where the finest ingredients meet attention to every detail. Wow, what a nice logo. It is quite confusing to me that it is a product of the USA when it clearly has, it looks to me like Japanese, and Kirin Ichiban, I've been playing a lot of Yakuza lately, is Japanese. So, whatever. Let's see here if it says any more details about that at all. Brewed and bottled by, what does that say? Kirin Brewery, Fort Collins, Colorado. So that's weird and misleading. Perhaps there is more to this beer than I know. Maybe it was originally Japanese and now it's product over here and it's not imported. And maybe they have their own brand over in Japan. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. So obviously, I just got done, if you're familiar, watching Jacob fucking Jones. And what I like a lot about Jacob fucking Jones is that he likes to have cigarettes. And I like to call it tobacco because I feel like cigarettes, I'm going to roll this up in front of you guys just to get the vibe. I feel like the name cigarette has not a great connotation to it. And I think words can be very powerful, and I think you should say something that is more, makes you feel good when you're doing things. Because I think, obviously, you can say what you want about tobacco, but I do believe, and I have seen that stress is the thing that really fucks a motherfucker up. And I truly do believe, and I'm not exempt from anything, but I truly do believe that people that try to quit smoking and they have all this hang up and baggage around this stuff, it's the stress from feeling like you shouldn't be doing this thing that actually harms your body even more. Because to me, what I've found, like at times I'm sick and all this stuff, the anxiety, the stress, the overthinking is tightening your body up, which is not allowing the healing process for your body to heal better. So I feel that is my opinion, and that's how I feel with that kind of stuff. But so the reason I'm not Jacob fucking Jones, though I do admire Jacob Jones. I think Jacob Jones is quite entertaining to watch at times, especially him and Small Brain American. I watch a lot. Small Brain American, he travels the world and he has some videos where he's in Japan and he's having beers and having a smoke. And I feel like that is enjoyable, depending on the situation and circumstance. It can be quite enjoyable. But I do like that Jacob Jones reviews a bunch of cigarette products. And to me, what I admire is the appreciation for the smoke, for the tobacco. He's not just willy-nilly. I mean, at least in the videos, he's not just willy-nilly like smoking it, like whatever, but like he's like enjoying it and appreciating it. And I think that's one thing too, to enjoy these things. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but the enjoyment of these things. So for me, let's roll this bad boy up right here. I figured, because I already had one rolled, but I figured for the vibe and aesthetic of the video, I'm going to roll this bad boy up. Why not? Um, Boom. I remember I had a buddy who said that I looked like I was licking a woman's vagina rolling up. And that's what was in my mind. So I thought it was quite hilarious. But sometimes you want to be sexy. I'm okay. You want to be sexy when you're licking that. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the times smoking is a vibe. And if you can feel that vibe, I used to think it was very posh and insufferable. And there's another word that I'm thinking of. But as I get older, I appreciate the ability to enjoy and appreciate the little aesthetics of life. And I was just at a friend's house, and her mom and dad were serving dinner, and there were some other people there. They have a very beautiful house. And each time his mom brought out a serving of food, she was just like, wait, before you guys eat, I want you to know what you're eating. We have here tomato and kale. These are squished tomatoes. And she just went on and on about that. And I couldn't help but really admire that and appreciate that because I could tell how much she admired and appreciate the cooking and the serving and just the whole ability to do this. And I think that life is a very beautiful thing in a lot of ways. And I feel like it is a lot more enjoyable having that type of appreciation for articulation and just certain things. Not to say I'm always like this, but right now, I just got off of a Jacob fucking Jones kick and watching Small Brain American, and they allow me to feel more just enjoyable about these things. So I have this here. I have American Spirit, and before I start to smoke this bad boy, the reason why I get American Spirits, specifically black, if I'm getting the tobacco cigarette itself, I usually will get a light blue, though I do feel like the organic is a lot healthier. There was a book called Smoke No Evil, and it just came to me like an epiphany that maybe a lot of the health problems arise just the same with vaping. If you get cheaper stuff, they're going to have a lot more chemicals in it. And in the book, it showed a list where there was a lot of cigarette products like Marlboros, Camels, and they have lots of chemicals. Then you go to Native American spirits, they only have 4 chemicals. And if you go to organics, it's totally 0. This is what the book said, at least. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but this is what it said. So from then on, I've been much more of an American Spirit smoker. I feel like it was more of an instinct thing to do that. And that's why lately, my friends I've been hanging out with, they like to roll their tobacco. I also like to roll them a lot more now. It gives me that feeling that I'm in Europe, and that is very fucking enjoyable. I like that feeling, and I don't think it's silly at all to sit down and imagine that you're in another country and you're enjoying yourself. And I think it's a very good thing to do, and I think there's nothing wrong with it. We used to do this when we were children. We used to play and we used to imagine. So why should it be any different when we're older and we're adults? Obviously, there has to be a line with certain things, especially if you have kids. But I don't think that part of you should ever really die. I think it just needs to be more refined and matured. You can't fucking think you're a cat and then shit on your grandma's porch like I did when I was 3. And it was hilarious at the time, but I did get in a lot of trouble. But it's still pretty funny. And I talked to her about it, and she's like, this is not cat shit. This is human shit. So I did that, and yes. But I think it is a beautiful thing, and getting into a vibe and feeling yourself, feeling a little cool, feeling, like, yeah, I'm the man. Not even thinking I'm the man, but just really enjoying it. So that's what I'm going to do now. And the reason why I usually roll them up too is I like to be able to taste this. I remember I had a conversation with somebody who's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, actually, I do. Because a lot of the times too, I think the way you smoke also has an effect on you. If you're just like kind of puffing away, it all depends on the person. But I like to really like take it in, enjoy it for the most part. What's the point of even smoking? And obviously, it's a lot funner when I'm having a beer. So without further ado, also, this is why I appreciate Jacob Jones, because of his articulation. It really shows me that he has an appreciation. And as I'm getting older, I have more of an appreciation for these things. Because, guys, we only live one time. So as much as possible, you should try, in my humble opinion, you should try to find the appreciation in a lot of the small things. Because you only get to live once. I used to really be into past lives and all that type of stuff. But I have no proof that any of that actually exists. The only life I know is this life. So I'm going to try to cherish it as much as I possibly can. I said as much as I can. It's not like I'm a perfect person. I'm always like that. But I try to. Here's the box of matches I'm using. It's a very beautiful, sophisticated. And I think matches are a beautiful way. It kind of reminds me of a Clint Eastwood movie when it comes to smoking. So I'm going to light this baby up. And let's enjoy this. That's good stuff. It's always very much more enjoyable to me when I have a smoke after a break. Like 4 or 5 hours goes by. I go to the gym. I sweat. I get a good workout in. Not all the time. Sometimes when I'm really dedicated to working out, I come back home and I don't really care as much because the place that I'm in mentally after the gym is like totally like I want to be stronger and all that type of stuff. But finding the balance and not to beat yourself up, but you should beat yourself up a little. I think it's okay to do that. You got a lot of therapeutical talking and all these people now. We live in a day of age where everybody thinks they're a fucking psychiatrist, and even psychiatrists are still people at the end of the day that have certain information and limited information that isn't the full truth of God or the creator of all things, and they don't have full experience of life, so not everything they say is going to be fully accurate. And I think that it can be very condescending to try to psychologically induce somebody all the time, like you know exactly why they're the way that they are. But sometimes you are right, you know. But sometimes it just is what it is, and these are parts of life. This is good beer. I got very much inspired because I was right in the middle of watching a Jacob fucking Jones video with Small Brain American. They were in the park, and I was sitting in my room, and I was like, dude, I want to come out on the porch. I like to do this sometimes. I will go to the bar here and there, hang out with my friends, have beers, but there are times when I really do just enjoy hanging out with myself, having some smokes, drinking some beer, allowing the alcohol to like hit me, and I'm listening to music. I might want to put myself in a vibe, like it really depends. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I might listen to some Japanese music or some sad music. You know, it's very enjoyable, and just kind of seeing what kind of comes out of me. I think it's fun, very fun to do. And it seems like this went out. I'm not going to light it with a match. That was purely aesthetic, but I do appreciate doing that. But I'm almost out of matches, so I'm going to light it with a lighter. That is good stuff. I'm sure I have some family members that watch this, and they probably would not like the idea of me. Well, beer is okay, but probably smoking tobacco. But the way I see it is, there's many worser things somebody could be doing in their life, and I'm quite happy and glad where I'm at in my life now compared to where I was a year ago. In the last 3 to 4 years, I was smoking a lot of pot, and you know, I had a great time with it at the time, but then it started to just overtake my life, and I realized, for me at least, it's like a drug. And I'm talking for myself. Everybody might have a mixed opinion, but you know, everybody has a different experience. But I felt like I got bursts of energy and motivation, inspiration, but then also like 30 minutes later, it would just be gone. And then I wouldn't really be following through on the things that I actually cared about in my life. And it brought me into a lot of situations that I felt were not very good. And it was like a drug to me. It really was like a drug to me. So for me, I have a place. I'm enjoying my life a lot more, as much as somebody possibly can. And, you know, this is what it is. And, yeah, it feels good to have a beer. Slow down, settle down. Don't have to go at 90 miles per hour all the time. Because sometimes I was in that mindset. But it's good. Find that balance. I'm glad I'm finally making a video. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But, you know, I thought about it, too. Because a lot of people... I think a lot of people are inspired to make videos, but they want to do it all extravagant. They're like, oh, I got to go to Japan. I got to go to this place and do this and do that. But I kind of came to the realization that, dude, you can start right now in your own backyard, on your own porch. You can just start right now. Because if you get people that are watching your videos that actually enjoy what you have to say, it doesn't really matter where you're at. Though, not lying, it is nice to be able to go to other places and do other things and show that as well, and people will appreciate that. And I would like to make my channel about that someday. But as of right now, I think it's good to get the ball rolling and just start where you're at. I think it's very important. The reason why I usually get American Spirit Black for the pouch is that I feel like it has a deeper pull. It's weird, when I got light blue in the pouch, I felt like it had less of a pull, because what I used to do is I would get the light blue in a pack, and then I'd break them and roll them up, and it would have more of a pull. But then when I get the pouch, it has less of a pull. So I like to get the pull. I like to be able to feel the pull. I don't feel it as much when I smoke Camels and Marlboros. I was in New York City recently, and when I'm in New York City or I'm in a party kind of mode, I will maybe get cheaper cigarettes. They make me less lightheaded. Sometimes American Spirits are my thinking cigarette. thinking tobacco, and I just kind of sit there. It kind of makes me have a head high, actually, a little bit. I've kind of realized that that's the case, and a lot of emotions can pop up, and it makes me kind of mad. So it is a little weird, but paired with alcohol, it's good. And I'm not condoning any of this stuff. I'm not saying to do this, but if you do it, here you go. I think it's nice that we can kind of vicariously live through other people, and it almost feels like we're hanging out. I was drawn to Jacob Jones. There's this other girl, I think she was from Colombia, and sometimes when I'd have cigarettes, I'd watch her while smoking a cigarette. I'll say cigarette or tobacco too. It's gonna come out, but I would watch them, and it felt like I was hanging out with them. And I know it sounds silly, but then it goes back to the point where you kind of imagine you're in a place, and I don't think there's anything weird about it. As long as you know the line, like you're clearly not hanging out with them. You don't really know them like that, but it feels like you're smoking with them. You're partying with them. You're having a good time with them. And I think life isn't meant to be taken so seriously, but also I think it is also meant to be taken seriously. And, you got to find that balance for yourself. This keeps going out because I'm talking so much, but I'm quite enjoying myself. It is very nice. Sometimes I'll listen to Final Fantasy music while I am having a smoke. It's very nice to do that. Getting a certain vibe. I can get taken into certain places, but then I usually bounce back out of them. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's good to be afloat. I heard a good quote not too long ago. It was like, you don't want to get too high and you don't want to get too low. So it's good to find a good balance, which I will say a lot. And I plan on making more videos. So back to basically what I was talking about before, you can do it in your own backyard. There's bars in the town that I'm at. You can go to the bars that you're at. I'm probably going to go to the bars that I'm at and record myself maybe having a drinking night, hanging out with some friends, doing little things like that. I think a lot of people, like people are attracted to like reaction videos of people reacting because it feels like they're hanging out with that person. They're living vicariously through them. Maybe not even vicariously, but it feels like you're hanging out with that person. And it's not that I don't have friends. It's not like I don't have friends and people to chill with, but I think it is also nice to, kind of not take in, but like see other people's energies and other people's spirit that you can be drawn to. I think it's very nice. I think that's why a lot of people watch reaction videos. And Jacob Jones has his own niche, which I appreciate, and that's why people are drawn to him because there are people that smoke, and sometimes it's nice to. I think again the aesthetics is a beautiful thing to admire and appreciate. I also have a cigar here. I got this on my trip to New York City. I barely been smoking it. It looks like a big turd and smells like a big turd. The guy there told me this is one of the best cigars they had, even though it was $8. It's okay. I'm not huge of a cigar guy because they don't have a lot of a pool, but I do feel like it is cool, and I think we should bring that word back. It's cool. I don't think it's trivial. I think it's actually cool to say cool. It is cool to be able to chill out and vibe out. Thing is, you don't always want to be Mr. Cool all the time, but I think it's good to sit with yourself and feel and be Mr. Cool. I think that's very good for your mind. Ah, I just got done playing Yakuza. Mm. Yakuza 0. And I liked that game a lot because I felt like it made me feel more serious about myself. I really appreciate Kiryu. If you haven't played the game, you should. PS4, PS5. But he has this integrity about him, and it's very admirable. And I like to watch it. And yeah, like sometimes I will just chill here. I'm kind of excited up right now. I'll probably end this soon so I can keep watching Small Brain American. But, at the end of the day, as silly as it might sound, you're like your own best friend at times. And obviously, it's good to have friends and people around you, I think. Everybody's different, but I appreciate those moments being out, getting silly, having a good time, enjoying life. And I also enjoy hanging out with myself, talking to myself. I think that people Obviously it's a little weird talking to yourself in public, but I think talking to yourself, by yourself and all that type of stuff, depending on who you are, is a perfectly normal thing, and I think it should be more normalized. Because we already talk to ourselves in our head most of the time, and all I'm doing is verbally expressing the thoughts that are already inside. And I feel like it has more of an imprint on me when I verbally express it than when I just keep it inside. So it feels really good to be able to do that. I think I have certain family members who watch some of my videos when I upload them. And I think the fear there is, your family is the closest people for the most part are in your life. And they will always have things to say because they care, even if they're not right. But I think to be able to look past that and be able to keep expressing yourself the best you can and, just do your thing and enjoy life and try to be there for them when you can. And yeah, I think it's important. And nobody's perfect. You might be afraid to be made fun of the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you might express yourself more fully than you would around other people. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm putting myself out there. And it is what it is. I would like to get more of a following. I don't like that word following, a subscription. And so I could go out and share more of my opinions and do things like that. And I think we live in a really cool age too where you can make money off of doing stuff on YouTube, and I think that's a very beautiful thing that gives us more of a freedom to be able to go out there and do things in our life. What I would say, this is a good beer. This is a pretty good beer. I'm appreciative a lot of Belgium and German beers. I don't really live in Germany, but I've been to Germany off and on. I've had two German girlfriends at the same time. No, not at the same time, but it was a prolonged period of time, and Germany had a very profound effect on me. It is really profound, and it really kind of goes to show how perception can be altered depending on where you live in a lot of ways. I think that a lot of people have basic values of life that they live by, but then also it's different. Like you can drink outside in Germany, you can walk around and have a beer in Germany. The smoking culture is not as looked down upon, which again it goes back to the topic I was talking about the feeling shameful and feeling bad about these things. That stress can actually add more health effects on you, and unless and compared to living in an environment where it's more normalized and it is less looked down upon. You don't really feel bad, which allows your serotonin, your chemicals in your body to appropriately heal and do the things they need to do. I think working out is very good too, especially if you do like to have drinks and smoke. That can level you out more, get a lot of the toxins out, help you breathe better. But it's not so black and white. And over here, I wouldn't say you look like a bum, but people have their perceptions. I like to go to the park sometimes and have a beer, but you got to kind of look past that. I think it's good to remind yourself that in this country you want to be looked down upon. So over here, it's clearly a perception thing that's going on in people's heads, and they're going to look at it a certain type of way. And we're fed a lot of beliefs about what is bad and what is good. And I think again, there's certain values and certain things underlying for humans that are just inherently not cool. But then there's little gray areas like smoking and drinking and stuff. And I think personally, when it comes to drinking and smoking, if you feel like these things are affecting you in a negative way in your life, so much so that it's affecting you, then that's when you should take it upon yourself. I won't say should, but if you feel that way, then maybe take it upon yourself. That's how I felt with weed when I was smoking weed, where it was to a point where nobody was. Well, did have people talking to me about my behavior and how I was acting, but it got to a point within myself where I was like, I don't like who I am right now. I don't like that I'm not as social. I don't like that I'm fucking like all over the place. I don't like that I'm not accomplishing my goals. Some people I feel like get into this like hustle mindset a lot, which I think is good, but I think it needs to be more balanced out. And the thing with weed, I found for myself is that I don't feel like it allowed me at least, and a lot of other people that I know too, to really process their emotions. I feel like it forces you to process your emotions. And then I would wake up and I'm pissed off. I'm more angry about certain things and all this type of stuff. because I'm using this thing. Tobacco can be that as well, but at the same time, it's definitely not as strong as weed was. But you're not soberly processing these things. I even with alcohol, it's funny. I feel like alcohol can be actually good for processing things too, unless you're getting just shit faced fucking drunk. But I've found for myself that sometimes having a beer on the porch actually allows me to process as well. It kind of makes me feel kind of grounded and a little bit lovey-dovey, but not on the same level as like fucking weed, where I can still retain. Like most of the time I go out and have drinks, I can remember the whole entire night. There's only been a few times where I was like, wait, what happened? But for the most part, I can remember everything that happened. It's usually why I don't drink hard liquor, because hard liquor really actually loosens me up. But alcohol mixed with the tobacco actually keeps me a lot sharper. And yeah, I think the thing is you shouldn't apologize either on these videos for yapping on and on, because if people are watching you, they're watching you to listen to you talk, and they're watching you to listen to your opinions. In a minute, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to, how much battery percentage do I have? Because I want to make sure that I want to actually relax too, because I just started streaming as well, and there is this weird pressure on a little bit, like you're being watched and all this stuff, so you're not fully relaxing, but yeah. I don't know, chicken butts, booty holes, vaginas. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But you know what? I think I'm going to end it there. I feel like I got a lot of thoughts out, and I put out a lot of opinions. Do I want to end it there? I like this. It is quite nice and enjoyable, and I kind of want to keep going a little bit, but maybe we'll just have some silence. That'd be a cool video. See, it's like thoughts like pop up. They like pop up out of the ether when I'm kind of like light-eyed like this. The thoughts will just kind of come, and it's almost like a voice, like just boom, just hits me, and it's just like, whoa, what if I played some jazz music? Maybe I'll make one where I'm not even really talking, and I put on some jazz music, and I'm just smoking and having a beer, and we're just vibing out. We're just chilling out. That would be cool. I like that. I don't think I am going to go to the bar tonight, because I have been kind of going a little bit. Since I got back from New York City, I've been trying to leverage myself back out. I just went to the gym today. That felt fucking amazing. Fucking deadlifted. Almost got 425. It was annoying because the week before that I got 435. But I kind of haven't been going as hard just after New York City. But I almost got 425, and it was coming up pretty high, but then my grip slipped. It was really my grip. It wasn't that I didn't have the power, but I guess you could say my grip, but it slipped. So but I'm still happy with that. It's good. So I want to get to the 500 round, and it's kind of nice being able to have that R&R time, because it kind of lets me slow down and really think about what my workout goals are. And I don't really care much about my bench press or my squat at the moment. And I think I'd rather focus on my deadlift and get my deadlift up into the 500s, and then maybe I'll go over to squats. But I still think it's good to, if you do work out and go to the gym, I think it's really imperative to, calisthenics are very good. They're good for the tendons, great for the tendons, and great for everything, like just body weight squats, doing push-ups. Do like 100 push-ups. You don't have to do them in a row, but 100 push-ups, 100 squats, maybe do more. But that's going to just, your tendons, it's going to be so good for your tendons and everything. So when you go and do heavy lifting, it's going to have a payoff. It's totally going to have a payoff. And yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of it, I like Eric Bugenhagen. Eric Bugenhagen has a wild mindset that I pick up on sometimes, and I think it's good to get that energy where, he always talks, it's mental. You know what I mean? If you allow yourself to think and then feel these feelings of doubt, and all that stuff, your body isn't gonna feel as strong. Like when I'm at the gym, I'll usually start running and I'll listen to like all this battle music and Final Fantasy music, puts me in a different head place, makes me feel strong and powerful, which translates to my lifts. If you're going to the gym tired as fuck, feeling like shit, well, most likely your lifts, fuck, your lifts are not gonna be as good as you would like them to be. So a lot of it is getting in a good headspace. You know, some people is like, what does the mentality mean? To me, it's being in a good headspace. Being in a good headspace, feeling good. Your thoughts are like direct. You're maybe angry, whatever. Anger isn't a bad thing, depending on how you use it. You know what I mean? It's like when you get angry, then all of a sudden you have all this power, but is it controlled anger? You know, controlled rage that you could direct to lifting heavy. So yeah, I think that's going to be my new goal is trying to deadlift 500 pounds, and I would like to get there before May. No, I feel like I could get there much faster, much faster. I'm going to shoot for March. I feel like I can get there faster. I'm not going to set a goal on when I'll have 500. I think that's actually stupid when I think about it. I'm just going to shoot for that. And maybe I'll get it a lot faster. But I'm going to end this video because I have 15% battery life and I would like to enjoy actually hanging out with myself for a bit. So I hope you like this video. Put a like down. Put a subscribe down. Put a poop in my comments. Take a voice memo, because they're there now, of you on the toilet taking a shit. I want to hear it. Yeah, anyway, so, no, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That'd be fucking weird. Don't be that guy. But if you did, I think that'd be fucking hilarious. Alright, guys. I hope you have a good night. Peace out. Fuck yeah.